If you eat the fruit creams, and I think the authorities need to see your hard drive. Like, it's simple as that, right? Oh, God, I can't believe
Are you in Africa still? I want to know if you're in Africa
No,
still.
I'm not now.
Right, okay. Are you in the Pentagon?
Well, there is going to be a lot more sackings on FM25 than we've had in many, many years.
Now, I've got a suggestion for a New Year's resolution for you, so I hope you don't mind me giving you one.
Oh, go for it.
You should finish a challenge.
No, technically, I do finish a challenge. I don't conclude. I don't win the challenge.
Okay,
right.
fine.
And you know what? Right, Greece, I will take exception to because I was going to finish it, but the sacking did me wrong, and then the delay, and it was the delay of the game that made me stop it. Hello everyone and Happy New Year from the FM show. I'm your host Tony Jameson, joined as always by Si Maggio. Si, how are you, my friend? Are you well? Happy 2025.
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm hungover from New Year's Day, hopefully. We're obviously record this in advance. I'm divorced because do you know what I caught my wife doing before the show?
No.
So I don't know if anyone has selection boxes or lints. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, not at this stage of Christmas. I'm going left. But
what's the biggest crime regarding selection boxes?
The biggest crime regarding selection boxes, is it that you start opening the other person's and finishing it for them? Or
no, well, we share a box, like a box. So it's not like you're sharing them. I guess like if you ate all of like the Galaxy caramels, if you've got I don't know which one they're in.
Yeah, like eat the best ones and then leave like the crap ones at the end. Like, so if you've got a tin of like celebrations or roses or whatever, if you've got a box, and this is what's probably going to anger a lot of people now, if you end up with a whole box of orange creams at the end, then
I like the orange creams.
My
wife doesn't like them. It's perfect. She hates raspberry. She hates chocolate. She hates fruity chocolate, which is like perfect for me because I quite like them. She likes the nutty ones. I like nuts, but I'm not a fan of nutty chocolate. So it's like
if you eat the fruit creams, and I think the authorities need to see your hard drive. Like, it's simple as that, right? Because I don't trust anyone that eats fruit creams. It's honestly, it's the most disgusting thing. Give me a whole tray of coconut based chocolate above fruit creams, right? That is just, oh my god. Honestly,
you'll upset people with the coconut.
I need to say now, welcome to the FM show. We are now advertising for the role of a new presenter. If anyone's interested, prerequisite: do not eat fruit cream based chocolate. So,
well, okay, so that's not the biggest crime. The biggest crime that my wife committed was she ate one and she put the wrapper back in the tin.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Mrs. J does that a lot.
I caught her. It was a Snickers, I think, and I was like, why is there an empty Snickers wrapper in the tin? And she was like, wasn't me. I was like, well, I've not eaten any Snickers because Snickers are like one of my least favourite ones out of the tin. So it definitely was you. There's only two of us in this house.
I can do you one better. Youngest Jameson came downstairs during the Christmas and New Year break. He discovered the selection boxes and clearly was eating chocolates before everyone else had woken up, and the wrappers were in the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
We're like, is there some wrappers in the bathroom? And he's like, I don't think so. And I was like, there really is, isn't there? Like, how did they get there? And he's like, I've got no idea about that. And I'm like, I think you do know something about that.
At least they weren't in the toilet.
He hasn't thought that far ahead, but yeah, he figured he'd go and eat them in the bathroom in a secret shame.
Tried to flush him, and I imagine they're the kind of thing that doesn't flush. But yeah, okay.
I imagine so. But yeah. So how was? So obviously we did the Christmas episode pre-Christmas. We do the New Year's episode pre-New Year. So how was Christmas? Was it pleasant? Did you have a bit of time off? Did you have some family time? Did you have any little downtime from FM, or maybe more time playing FM?
Well, so weirdly this year, because we'd been away and we came back and all our families have gone away. So I think we must have upset them last year. Every year they're like, you've got to come to ours this year, you've got to come to ours this year. This year I think they all decided we were going to one of the other family members, and they've all decided to go on holiday or visit other family or whatever. And we'd only just come back from holiday, so from our honeymoon. So we were like, we're not going away. So we were just the two of us for Christmas, which is a rarity. And it was kind of nice. We had a little pre-Christmas like with family a couple of days before, but on Christmas Eve though I punctured the tyre on the car, So yeah, it was just as well we weren't going anywhere, and it's scuppered my. We were visiting some friends, supposed to go yesterday and today, so we've had to truncate that till just tomorrow now. Just for the daytime. So yeah, it has scuppered a few of our plans. We had to get the Halfords men out to the, and all kinds of disasters. Like, I don't know if you've ever punctured a tyre, but you used to get a spare tyre in your car, didn't you? And now you just get these puncture repair kits.
Oh, mate, it's like everything. You used to get headphones in the box of an iPhone. You don't get that anymore now.
That's true, yeah.
Even a plug. I got a new phone recently. This is how old man I am now. I didn't realise that you didn't get a plug with your phone.
No,
I was like,
don't.
Where's
I think
the plug?
they figured you have
Where's
enough
the
plugs
headphones?
by now, but that would be good. I mean, this is a good point to mention that Football Manager 25 is coming without any football in it. So
It's definitely coming without international management.
you got to buy the football separate. Actually, I'm going to give Sports Interactive credit. Like, they are not ones to nickel and dime and put extras. Like, other than the in-game editor or whatever, they've never gone down the route of like microtransactions. There's a little bit on console.
Yeah.
But they've never gone down the route of like, hey, you want to play winter football? You've now got to buy DLC. You want to play with you want the kits to be the right colours, you got to pay for I mean, they could do it very easily.
The Champions League branding, you need to pay extra for that. Yeah, as you say, they're all putting it within the game itself. And of course, this year, the Premier League branding is going to be in. And guess what, Si? Over the Christmas period, I have watched football.
Ooh, I've actually watched barely any football. I'm so far behind on fantasy football and everything.
And you know what? I don't know why people bother. I really don't. Honestly, I've watched 3 Premier League matches, and it's the most football I've watched all season. And quite frankly, I wouldn't feel any different had I not seen it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Like, I probably watched them all last year on Amazon Prime, and I don't remember what matches I watched.
Yeah,
I just put one in the background. Did you watch Brentford versus Brighton, the 0-0 thriller?
No, what did I watch? I watched.
Don't tell me you watched like the 6-3 or something.
No, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's interesting enough. No, I saw what did I see? Go back through them because I watched one on. Oh, I watched Man City versus Everton, which fine, middle of the table league clash that nobody really cares about. Fine, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Then I saw a little bit of. Well, I watched half of Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham. Which again, fine, fairly nondescript. And then I saw half of Liverpool versus Leicester, which again I wasn't massively bothered about. I saw it when Liverpool were losing, so I was like, that's fair enough. And then I get a message from Mrs. J going, oh yeah, we won 3-1. And I was like, well, that's boringly predictable, isn't it?
Yeah, they just turned it around.
And then I watched half of Arsenal versus Ipswich, and I was like, oh, do people pay money to watch this? Because seriously, it's not. The worst it's matches, not good. It's not good.
I think if you'd picked the week before.
No, I watched the NFL on Christmas Day, full of Christmas Day dinner and a fair amount of whiskey, and I had a much better time watching that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I reckon and this is the episode, by the way, everyone. New Year's resolutions in Football Manager. My New Year's resolution in Football Manager is to watch more NFL.
I mean, there is an NFL Manager game. Is it Axis Football? I believe there's a new one coming.
Yeah. I played a bit of Axis Football. And my community quite enjoyed it because it's almost like because it's clearly not licensed. So I think we were something like the Los Angeles Locomotives or something like that.
Los Angeles, famous for his trains.
Yeah. And it was great fun. I think me and shout out to Huckleberry Finn as well, who also did. He discovered it as well. He's a 49ers fan as well. He did a bit of content on it, which was great. But yeah, we played a bit of Axis Football, which was fantastic. And I always say that if there was an American football version of Football Manager, honestly, I'd be lost. Like that would be my game.
Have you tried the college football?
No, I haven't. But apparently, it's meant to be brilliant.
It has a dynasty mode. I couldn't get on with it, but it was a bit. The trouble is, and it's a bit like FIFA Manager Career Mode, and like even if you don't actually have to play them. Did I play the matches, or maybe I did play the matches? I don't remember. I don't think you have to play the matches. But it just feels a bit like. The trouble is, when it gives you the option of playing the matches, not playing them feels weird.
And playing them makes you feel like you're dragging the game out a bit longer. And like I'm always in it. So whenever I play Madden and FIFA, old school FIFA, not EFC, I've not played EFC, right? But I would have done that career mode. I would have played the games as well as doing the GM stuff.
You gotta play
same as WWE, same as like UFC. I used to always do the careers, and I used to always be the team or the character or whatever. Interestingly, we're talking about the NFL because, Si, I might have to get my USA hat on for the next few weeks because I've got an update from the Pentagon challenge.
So
I do need to add the challenge as well because I haven't got an update from the Pentagon. They haven't given me the Pentagon challenge is an update. So, oh God, I can't believe.
Are you in Africa still? I want to know if you're in Africa.
No,
still.
I'm not now.
Right, okay. Are you in the Pentagon?
Well,
if you're taking over the Washington Wizards, is it the Washington Wizards? No, they might be in. I don't know if Washington Wizards is DC or Seattle. Right?
Washington
DC
Wizards is the basketball
Kansas
team.
City.
Basketball
it's Kansas City Wizards in football, anyway, isn't it?
Yes. No, Houston. No, Kansas. I don't know. Who knows?
They
like, the Boston Bobcats.
I think there's a Wizard. The Washington Wizards might be the basketball team.
Washington
right?
Wizards is the basketball team.
Are they the ones who play the
baseball.
Globetrotters?
I don't know.
I think they're the ones who play the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, they're the team that always loses.
I mean, if we're talking about teams that always loses, hello, it's my turn to talk. So, I think we left ourselves at season 5 in our last update, where we lost the league on goal difference.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
I remember, yep.
Well, we hadn't lost the league on goal difference. We drew 10 matches, and that's what cost us the league, but we still lost on goal difference. So, bit of recruitment in the summer, bit of a drive forward. We somehow qualified for the Champions League because the coefficients had widged around a little bit. So finishing second meant we were in the African Champions League. So we set course in the league. We set off blister and pace, doing fantastic, winning games left, right and centre. I was like, ooh, TJ Ball is cooking in South Africa. And we're like, looking the part. Our striker's back from an ACL injury. He's scoring goals. Our players are just blending, and everything we've put together looks like it's right. We started playing these Champions League group games, did pretty well, beat some teams. We lost to Tunis, who were they won the Champions League 4 times out of the last 5. They're an Egyptian side, I believe.
No, surely they're Tunis.
Tunis are, yeah. Where they're from?
That'd be Tunisia, sure.
Tunisia.
That's the capital of Tunisia.
Okay.
I mean, it might be an Egyptian team, but
this might be part of the reason the Pentagon is not going well. Right? They're a Tunisian side, Tunis, clearly given their name. I thought all the Saudi Arabian clubs were in the African Champions League at one point as well. So there's that slight issue.
They're in Asia.
No, they're very much Asia. So Tunis are in our group. They've won the Champions League 4 times out of the last 5. They've beaten us twice in the group stage, but we've still qualified as the second place team in the groups. Fine, brilliant. We keep charging on through the league. We then knock out some teams in the first round of the Champions League, and then we get to the quarterfinals, and we play Mimosas. Do you know? You'll know Mimosas, the Ivory Coast side, who are like Wonder Kids Central.
Oh, I thought you about the drinks that we had a few of when I was on my honeymoon for breakfast.
I was starting to think that, to be honest, because I was like, we can't play them drunk. Clearly, right? So them and Generation Foot are like Wonder Kid Central on Football Manager. So we go 2-0 up against Mimosas early on in the game, and we're like, okay, fair enough, we're flying here. Of course, in TJ fashion, we draw the game 2-2, right? Okay. But second leg, we batter them and we knock them out. So it's like, right, okay, we're in the semi-finals of the African Champions League now. First time I'm asking. We get drawn against... I want to say it's Al Masri. They might be.
I think so, yeah.
They are Egyptian.
I think they are Egyptian.
They're Egyptian. Yeah. And we hammer them. 3-0 in the first leg, and then I was thinking it was like 2-1 or 3-1 again in the second leg. And we're on our way to the Champions League final.
Okay.
First time of asking. At this point, I hadn't realised it was a 2-legged Champions League final. But Africans in my chat are saying, well, it makes sense because if it's not 2-legged, then you don't get fans travelling because Africa's obviously a large continent. So I was like, well, that makes sense, but I'd never really considered the idea that it was a 2-legged final. And guess who I get drawn against? Tunis.
Judas.
who'd of course won a lot and beaten us twice previously. Should also say that when they beat us the second time in the group stage, we had the FM goalkeeper injury crisis as well. So we had a 16-year-old greyed out goalkeeper in goal, and we only lost 1-0. So he did a pretty decent job on his debut. So we play the final, right? And we lose 2-0 in the first leg. It was 1-0. We were looking pretty decent, but for some reason, and it was mentioned in the chat during the stream, and I was like, that's a good point, actually. Someone in the chat mentioned I played it like a one-legged final. So when it was 1-0, I was chasing the game, and I was like trying to make changes to get a result to finish it there and then. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point, actually. If I'd have just kept it tight, took a 1-0 defeat, because it was away from home in the first leg, I might have had a better chance in the second leg. Because I normally play fairly narrow with my 4-3-3, but I went wide to try and exploit a bit of space in the wings, but unfortunately that allowed them a bit of space down the channel, and we conceded fairly quickly after going wide with a ball down the channel. I was like, I've literally gifted them the second goal here. So we lost 2-0, rolled on into the second leg of the final. We went 1-0 up, and I was like, okay, game's on. And then FM went, no, it's not. So, so they scored, which meant that it was 3-1 on aggregate. Away goals don't count double. It would have literally went to penalties had we been able to have made it 3-3.
Okay.
We threw everything at them to try and get back into the game. We got a 91st minute deflected goal to send us 2-1 up on the night, but it wasn't enough to give us a Champions League penalty shootout. There was no more time. There was about 2 more minutes worth of extra time added on. We won 2-1 on the final day, but we lost 3-2 in the final. So we were beaten finalists in the Champions League, which, you know, fine, we did well. We did well. First time asking to get the final and lose it is pretty decent. We won the league. Notice how I'm very quickly just skipping over the fact we lost the Champions League. We won the league on the last day of the season, having scored a 96th minute equaliser penalty against Orlando Pirates.
All right, so you got your late goal just in the wrong game.
Yeah. So we did that. So 6 seasons in, we figured it was time to leave, because obviously there's not a lot of time left in FM24. Me being entrenched in Africa to go for another season, all the vultures were swooping for our players. All the big lads were going to go. So I was like, look, we're just going to have to leave now. Let's leave it as we tried, and we were beaten finalists. And we can hold our hands up and go, we haven't completed a Pentagon, but let's at least now move to the next continent and try and go from there. And logically, the next continent is Asia, because that's what we thought. We got Africa, Asia, North America, South America, Europe. But my chat don't like me. So they're trying to send me to MLS.
All right. And is that where you've landed, or?
Well, we've finished the season. MLS has loaded up. Mexico's loaded up. But I've holidayed through to January for when MLS starts, seeing clubs in Mexico be available and go. Oof. So tonight's stream, after this record, is going to be me probably landing in MLS mid-season, if we can get a job in MLS, by the way, given the fact we're 2.5-star rep. We're not going to end up in a top job in MLS, but I'm guessing I'm not going to last more than a year in MLS anyway, so it's not really a problem. But yeah, that's where we are.
So how are you finding MLS and like the rules and?
Oh, I've done it once before, and it was carnage. It was absolute carnage. Like, I'm not there. Like, again, I must point out to anyone listening, at the time of recording, I'm not there yet. Next episode, I might have been at MLS, and I can't guarantee I will still be in MLS at the time of recording in the next episode. I like the idea of it, Si, and I think you mentioned on the last episode, people love the idea of MLS.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. There's part of me would think, wouldn't it be incredible if I'm just really good at MLS and rubbish at everything else?
I mean, maybe America's your home cooling, what you,
Yeah,
where you want to be.
It's unlikely though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, did you feel like you're gonna get like? Can you even? What is it? The Gold Cup? No, what is it called in the US?
Something like it's like the Confederations Cup. That's the one. Yeah,
it's just been played actually. No, it hasn't.
See, I don't know who wins it. I imagine Mexican teams are better set up for winning that.
Yeah, I can tell you who won. In fact, because a funny story. And this is with those of you who don't know, me and Tony have been doing a football show. We haven't recorded one for a while. The team that won it, I was wearing their shirt like while I was away in Costa Rica, and like one of the waiters came up to me and said, "Hey, that team's playing Real Madrid today?" I was like, "What do you mean?" It's Pachuca, by the way, and I had I've got the wrestler shirt, not the wrestling shirt,
the Lucha Libre.
I haven't got the Pachuca one to hand, but I've got like. They're really nice shirts if anyone's ever seen them. I haven't got any of them to hand. But yeah, I was trying to look for one now. I'm sure there's one like in close proximity to me, but I can't see it. So yeah, I was wearing that, and he said, they're playing Real Madrid today. I was like, why would they be playing Real Madrid? And it's because they won. They finished 6th in the Mexican League, but that was enough to qualify them for the Champions League in North America, because Mexican so they had to go like the first round, and then most of the Mexican teams come in like the last round. It's like a group stage, then another group stage, and then another group stage. And they just happened to go the whole way. And I think they beat Inter Miami in the final, and then they were playing Real Madrid last week in the Euro Challenge Cup, Euro North American Challenge Cup. I don't know what it was. I don't remember any other Champions League winners ever playing this. This is probably some new thing, but
is this part of the Club World Cup?
No, it's not a Club World Cup. It's the winner of the Champions League, which was Real Madrid, against the winner of the... Oh,
is this what they were mentioning? Somebody mentioned about the fact that Madrid have won it and they can't wear the patches yet, but Chelsea have still got the patches on.
Oh, did Chelsea last win it?
Something like
Chelsea,
yeah.
Chelsea
no, Man City might still have the patches on, possibly. I think I saw something on the on Instagram about. I think it was the Athletic had reported it.
Is it that? Is it the weird thing like the African Cup of Nations, which I'm pretty sure they've just announced the African Cup of Nations kits. I know this isn't our kit podcast, but I was like, wait a minute, the African Cup of Nations isn't for a whole another year, but isn't the African Cup of Nations like dated a year behind what it should be always?
Something like that, yeah.
Like it's the opposite of Foot Manager games. It's like the next African Cup of Nations is AFCON 2025, but it doesn't happen until January 2026. So yes, the Pachuca played. They got battered by Real Madrid 3-0. But yeah, so I think Mexican teams do tend to do pretty well in that.
So Mexico was so a lot of people were suggesting Mexico should be where I should go and manage, which in a sense I get, because the transfer rules are fairly similar to Europe. It's more in keeping with what we would understand, really. Although the Mexican league is still baffling because there's like an opening stage and a closing stage, and you can win the league by finishing 6th. Like, nobody knows who wins in Mexico. They draw lots, and they're like, "Oh right, you're the champions today," and they're like, "Are we?" Like, okay, cool.
Whoever burst the piñata first.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with MLS is that, as I've said, I'm going to be joining mid-season, providing I can even get a job in MLS at this point, because I don't know if 2.5 stars is going to be enough to get us there. I'm going to be joining mid-season, and you never tend to be joining a club that's doing well mid-season when there's a manager vacancy going on. So I'm going to be going into MLS, presumably going into a side that's not even going to win MLS, never mind competing in the Champions League. I mean, I've seen Club America's job go. I've seen Tigres' job go. I've seen Necaxa go. Like, I'm not saying I could have got those jobs, but I could have at least applied for them and been rejected, rather than just sitting and waiting for them, rather than waiting for, the Milwaukee Mouse Hunters or something coming up. Yeah. So, yeah, MLS is going to be... I'm going to use the word fun, and what I mean by fun is painful and upsetting.
Yeah, I like... it's just. I mean,
And I can't
the
even
trouble
buy
with
Joe
MLS,
Bellingham because he's gone to Man U. That's
you
my
can do
other
really
plan.
well in the leagues. Yeah, that's true. You can do that really. You do all the group stages, and then you're just at the whim of a cup again.
And also, you're at the whim of FIFA, who just decide, well, we're just going to put Inter Miami into the World Club Championships because they've got Messi and you haven't.
Yeah, they
You
got.
go,
they got money.
there's that. Yeah, that's an issue, isn't it? So,
Well, I
so,
assume
yeah,
he's retired at least, so you haven't got to worry about him.
I would imagine so. But I'm now going to have to go. So I'm 6 seasons in. So what's that? 2030, 31 season.
Yeah.
Right. So there'll be some aged Premier League players that I'm going to have to try and get, or aged Scottish players I'm going to have to try and get across to MLS to play for, like, the Dallas Prototypes, or
So how many designated players are you allowed?
Oh, I don't know, Si. Why do you think I've read the rules? Come on, right? Let me read the
you
rules
can
right
trade
now.
them, right? Or like,
Yes.
is that you can pay them as much wages as you like?
Oh, I don't know, Si. This is what I'm going to try and find out tonight on stream.
You might need more than one stream.
We need to do a proper MLS episode, by the way. So if you're an MLS expert, please come on the podcast and explain to us how we play MLS, because that, Si, is going to be one of my, and this is what we said before, this is the whole point of today's episode, this is going to be one of my New Year's resolutions, is to try and understand MLS properly. Is that a fair resolution to go for?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. Actually, I mean, I've got a similar one, so I'll give you one of my first ones.
Right.
Now, as with all New Year's resolutions, it might not ever happen. But what I'd like to do is, I want to manage outside of Europe. I've never managed outside of Europe in Foot Manager. I don't think. Maybe I did a very brief jaunt in like Brazil or something.
This is why I'm doing this now, to get this finished up, because like, obviously we started in Africa, and then some people were like, oh, just go to Europe. I'm like, no, we've done Europe lots. Like, I've never managed in North America on stream, but I've never managed in South America on stream. We've done Indonesia, so we've done a little bit of Asia, but not a lot. But yeah, I've not done MLS on stream, and I've not done Brazil or Argentina on stream. So let's do that, because that just sounds daunting more than anything.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I've never done J League. I've never done Korea.
I thought
Indonesia,
I was going to do J League. Genuinely, I thought like I was going to do J League because I loved the idea of it being in. I was like, proper. When I heard about it, I was like, that's my jam. Like 90s J League again, massively into it. Thought this is going to be brilliant, and I never really touched it. I don't know whether it was because of the fact that there was the data issue when it first loaded in, and there was a bit of licensing problems. By that point, I was already into Greece. But yeah, J League maybe might be somewhere we have to go and do a bit more work next year, I think.
Yeah, so I think that's what I've got to do. I've got to branch out and try some different places.
I think that ties in well though with where a lot of people's creative heads are as well, because this is part of my FM25 content plan as well. And I hate to use that word content plan because I don't feel as though I should be using the word content plan. But I've been racking my brains for what my save's going to be next year, and I've genuinely got no idea now because of the delay and because of the lack of international football and stuff. I don't know. I honestly can't think of a save right now that I desperately want to do because I don't know how long FM25 is going to last. So my question at this point, Si, is, we maybe touched upon it a little bit last episode, do I just do a whole bunch of like one season wonder challenges or something and try loads of new things, like try the MLS, try North America, try South America, try Asia? Is that maybe a way? Maybe use FM25 as more of an experimental version.
Now, I've got a suggestion for a New Year's resolution for you, so I hope you don't mind me giving you one.
Oh, go for it.
You should finish a challenge.
No, technically I do finish a challenge. I don't conclude. I don't win the challenge.
Okay,
right,
fine.
And you know what? Right, Greece. I will take exception to because I was going to finish it, but the second did me wrong, and then the delay, and it was the delay of the game that made me stop it. What I will say is, if you were to say complete a Let's Play save on YouTube. Now you've got me. Because I haven't done that. That's
Yeah, I mean that's tough. Like it's you never know.
I need
with
to
the
do
YouTube
that.
World.
yeah.
Okay, so beyond that though, like if you do, so the way maybe you could do this is if you take on maybe like, you know, every month you do like a 4 season or 5 season, you know, project. And every month it's something different. So, you know, then you can dip your hand in. You want to do Serie A for a month? Do Serie A for a month. You want to, you know, you want to dip your hand into... Yeah, I'm going to call this the RDF challenge. Just start a new save every week. Shame he's not here to hear that one.
Rebuild a save.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the thing. I think Aaron's kind of got that market covered, really, hasn't he? So
that's his forte. That's his MO. So yeah, I mean that's got to be it. You got to start a new, like, complete something, like a challenge. I mean, maybe you'll do one before we hit FM25, but I mean, it's a New Year's resolution. It's not an FM25 resolution.
Well,
so
I think it probably travels through though, doesn't it? So like, I do like the idea. Let's not beat around the bush. I would love to finish a YouTube Let's Play series, right? But I don't think I've got. After about 3 years now, I've probably got to admit I don't have the time to do a Let's Play YouTube series successfully. So my first resolution is going to be not set myself unrealistic targets in terms of a content perspective, in terms of content output. That's my first resolution, right? So I am going to do a video, because a lot of people are doing videos now about what they're going to do with their content next year and whether they're even continuing doing content or whatever. So one of my resolutions, Si, this is going to be documented right now, is I am not going to commit to a lot of projects and not see them through. So I am actually going to do what you've just said there and see a smaller amount of projects through rather than start a load of things and have them just sort of fade away because ADHD's taken over. And I've got loads of great ideas. I think definitely finish a smaller amount of projects than start a larger amount. So that's my first proper resolution.
Yeah, that works. I mean, why not, like, so you do a Let's Play, but you do like, hey, it's a 1 season Let's Play.
That's where I'm thinking. Right? Rather than doing these, rather than having a YouTube save, which is obviously a second save in addition to streaming, I think you're right. These little 1 season wonders that I might do one a month. Might, of course, is the key word here, because again, we don't know how much time I'm going to have with starting a new job and stuff. But 1 month to do 1 season and then make a video about that. Going, right, hey, I took, let's say, for example, Everton. They've got new owners, and I did 1 season with Everton. If I enjoyed it, I did a 2nd season. And that's how I managed it. But I'm going to manage every game and not simulating, and that will be my save for that month. Little video, little package, done, and away it goes. Next month, right, oh, hey, look, Foggia are struggling. They've got a really interesting background.
Is that a real team?
Save. Foggia, the Italian team, the former Zenit Zen.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sorry, it's my pronunciation. Is that not correct?
I thought you called it like Fudger or something. Like, just the Christmas chocolates are coming back.
But do a bit of that. Like, oh, look, Santos are in Serie B in Brazil. Let's have a little game of Santos. Can we get them promoted back into Brazil, Brazilian top flight? If I'm enjoying it, I might do that as another season, and that becomes next month's video. So you do 2 seasons worth of the same team. That might be a better way for me to do it, I think, rather than going, I'm doing another 25 season save, which I don't have time for.
Yeah. I think it's finding that time for it. That's like the that's the chat. Like, and also if you start something like that, you don't want to commit to a big project. Like I started some series on YouTube, and I just didn't get around to finishing them. Like. And I think like a part of my New Year's resolution is, I mean, the FIFA one I just killed because it didn't have enough views. Like I had another one, a Football Manager one, where I was like, my team was decided by football stickers, and I just wasn't getting them out quick enough. I still haven't recorded the last episodes. Maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't. But the problem is, like, I did a quick video on Referee Simulator, and that blew up. And it's like, well, okay, now I've got to do a series with Referee Simulator, which actually went really well. And then just like, actually today, right now, as we're recording this, I've got another one that's like, I played another game. I don't know if you've ever played the game Stardew Valley, or you've ever seen the game Stardew Valley.
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Or like Animal Crossing, right? Like that kind of game. So like, I played this game. There was a mix between that and Football Manager and Sensible Soccer. Okay, so you're still playing the matches, but it has like this little Football Manager bit, and then in between the games, you like walk around the town, like a bit like Pokemon, you know, like where you're walking around, like an old RPG where you walk around, visit different people, talk to them and stuff. And like, I just started that, and that's gone down really well. So now I'm probably gonna have to do a series on that. So it's like, and for me, it's like, okay, I can fill this Football Manager niche while we are in this downtime with Football Manager. Fill this Football Manager niche with like related games that aren't Football Manager. So it's like, okay, right, how do I capitalize on that? So I guess my New Year's resolution is like, okay, work out what I'm doing with content. You know, what makes my content sort of unique. I didn't want to make these New Year's resolutions content related, but just because you brought it up, I thought that's got to be it. Like, I've got to, you know, there's a lot of people out there who do Football Manager Tactics, right? I don't need to be the 200th person doing Football Manager Tactics, Football Manager Explainers. Now, on that note, what I would like to do, and I'm going to hold off until FM25, and this is was going to be one of my Football Manager resolutions, is to understand at least one additional aspect of the game. And I was thinking training, but I always give tactics a go and sort of fall off. Like I have a pretty good understanding of tactics, but like how some of the things complement each other, and I don't know if anyone knows, and that's my problem. Like, I don't feel like I ever read anything that goes beyond like my understanding already, and it's just insanely complicated and unpredictable. So there's not really a way of determining like, okay, this is going to work as a tactic, or this isn't going to work. Like, once you've got the basics down, and I'm sure there are some advanced techniques to tactic making, but it's like, okay, once you get the gegenpress with the players in the right roles.
I think what I'd like to do, and again, maybe coming from a content perspective rather than anything else, and I won't do it. I probably won't do it, but I'm like yourself. I'm not a tactician. I'm not a training expert. Nothing like that. What I'd like, given the fact that FM25 is a brand new game, okay, I would like people to come with theories and philosophies. If they're making content, right, I'd like to see they go, right, it's a brand new game, therefore, this is how I want to play football, right, and how I'm going to play football on FM25, rather than going, this is how I broke the game so quickly. Like, I don't want that nonsense. I want people to enjoy the new game and look at the quirks and look at things that don't work. And you're saying there about combinations, a lot of it does work, but I want to understand why it works, and why do those two specific roles work so well together? What blends them nicely? Don't just say, oh yeah, because two Segundo Volantes work in the match engine. Go, all right, that suggests to me that you've just put two roles that don't work together into a match engine, and therefore the opposition don't understand what's going on, because that wouldn't work in real life. I want to understand your philosophy, Si, as a manager. And if you put your philosophy into Football Manager, how would you make that work? Whether it works or not, how do you want to play football? That's what I want to hear from content creators next year.
I guess the problem is that can very quickly lead to a very frustrating experience and the sack.
But embrace that though. Surely, like people have to take more risks. This can't be a resolution for me of take more risks, because I do take risks. I get the sack and I'm fine. I move on with it. The resolution that I would like the majority of Football Manager players to make next year is to take more risks, to live outside of the comfort zone, because we're going to learn everything from the start this year. Nothing is set in stone, right? We don't know what works. There is going to be a lot more sackings on FM25 than we've had in many, many years. So all of the audience and the player base are going to have to be okay with that.
All right, here's my challenge to everyone then. I wonder if it's possible for someone to win the league, but win the league using, as in like with 8 different times, using every different tactical preset. You can set the formation how you like. You can set the roles how you like. You can make tweaks within reason. Like, you can't just change a part of the bus and turn it into a gegenpress just by like, and still call it a part of the bus. It still has to be fundamentally a part of the bus. I wonder if someone can win. Like, at least, like, probably park the bus might be the hardest one, but like the rest, I'm sure you could win the league using the rest.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And I think even then we've discussed with Aaron, haven't we, that when you get in the custom, the sort of the presets, the second you tweak one thing, the preset is irrelevant at that point. Like,
Yeah, that's
you know,
it.
it's like you can have part of the bus, but all of a sudden, but if you move your line of engagement up, it's not part of the bus anymore, is it? Like, it's gone. Like, you know, I get all the time. I play counter-attacking football with my team on stream with a balanced mentality, sometimes cautious, but I'm balanced when I'm a better side. And I get loads of people in the chat going, go positive, go attacking. I'm like, that's not counter-attack, is it? If your mentality is attacking, that's not counter-attack. Like, what you're saying is play differently. Like,
Yeah, they want you to gegenpress and to press the ball and all sorts.
yeah, which I totally get, but it goes against the philosophy that I'm trying to instill within my team.
Yeah, I think I'm too. I've just got into a habit where I'm like, I have a couple of, let's say, presets or around presets that I like. So I have tried 5 at the back this year, which was a wild adventure for me. I'm still recovering now. But you know, generally I'll go a 4-4-2 of some sort, or a 4-5-1. 4-3-3, 4-5-1, you know, depending on where you place those wingers.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, normally I have the advanced wingers, so 4-2-4 or something. But yeah, we have 4 at the back, and then 2 in the middle, 2 out wide, and 1 up top, or 1 in the advanced midfielder, attacking midfielder, and then it'll be like tiki taka or control possession or gegenpress, right? One of those 3, and then that's it. That's been my go-to since Football Manager 2006, 2005, like whatever the Football Manager, right? Or probably even LMA Manager. It was probably still that. I don't know if we had tiki taka when it was LMA Manager, but you know, whatever the equivalent was back. I think I used to do control possession because my philosophy was always, if I've got the ball, they can't score.
Yes, exactly. I'm quite pragmatic in that sense as well. Maybe it's my inner Mourinho. I think, you know what I mean? Like, take the ball off me. I'd rather not concede and win 1-0. Like, you know, that's where I'd rather do it. So yeah.
It's
so
around
I think,
you know, the Spain 2010, the 2008 to 2012 Spain team. Like that was the tiki taka, and Barcelona around that time as well. Yeah, that was peak football. And I was like, you get some skilled players in those kind of teams, and then you got your Iniestas, your Xavis, your Xabi Alonso's, and you know, suddenly, wow, like you can play some amazing tiki-taka football. So I try it with Preston, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Who are known for that?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to do that. Here's a resolution I'm going to do for next year, and I don't know how I'm going to get on with it, but because I know that if there's a beta, then I'll definitely be doing it at one point. I am not going to manage in England next year.
Ooh.
Apart from obviously the beta when I'll be managing Sunderland, but
Okay, right.
I'm not managing in England. I know the Premier League licenses are there, and I know it's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't care enough. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't want to do the bottom to top, like the sort of like the equivalent of like non-league to Premier League. I don't want to do that. And I know that lots of people from a content perspective want to watch teams that they're familiar with. They want to see players they're familiar with. I understand that 100%. But I think for me personally, I loved managing in Greece this year. It was different enough, but still had an air of familiarity about it. So yeah, I think again I'm going to have another season away from England.
Okay, is it now? I'm going to. Have you managed in England this year?
No.
So is it a Is it a New Year's resolution if it's something you're already doing?
I don't know if last year was a resolution or not, but I've definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, can you set a New Year's resolution? I'm going to give up smoking this year. I don't smoke already.
Fair point.
Yeah, when I think about New Year's resolutions, it's always like you got to change something about your habits,
okay.
about how you do.
Okay. Well, then, do I go out on a whim here? Right. Oh, you're gonna nail me at this one, aren't you, Si? I am not going to be as set in my ways about certain teams,
Okay.
And leagues. I'm not going to manage them, but yeah, I'm not going to go off about it like I used to do. Like, I remember I did the British Steel Challenge a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, I can't manage that team because they're owned by such and such, and I can't go to that team because they're owned by such and such. I don't even like that team, so I'm not going to do that. And yeah, it made Football Manager become football, and I didn't like it. So I'm going to take the element of football away from it and continue to use Football Manager as an escapism from the real world. Because I know I've said I don't want to manage in England, but I do want to do the women's manager, the women's leagues. I do want to do that. So I don't really know how I'd do that if I'm not managing England. But yeah, I think I need to try and distance some of the unscrupulous nature of football. Because let's face it, it's all unscrupulous, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Now I've got see, here's the biggest league that maybe isn't in the game right now. Is the Saudi League, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what they've said about the Saudi League, or I don't think anything's been announced. They've said there's new leagues for FM25. You have to imagine if they might add one, they might add that. Although they took the Russian leagues out the game.
It'd be likely that would be the one that they go for.
Yeah, like Saudi Arabia. In theory, Saudi Arabia. Well, no, what's the way of putting this? Saudi Arabia have done nothing wrong. Like, they're not under like international sanctions or anything. Let's put it that way, right? They've just been awarded a World Cup, right? So
all fair and above board.
So like, we can question.
Saudi Arabia do not own football clubs at all. No, not at all.
Yeah. So let's assume they add Saudi Arabia into the game. This is a question for like what if they do add it. I wonder if you can get the first. Now I'd have to assume it won't be licensed at least, but I wonder if you could get the first gay player in Saudi Arabia. That would be interesting. So, and this goes back to what you've gone speechless. This goes back to.
I'm trying to work out how I edit this.
All right. Well, because the reason I say that is because you say like you're going to be less worried about what is it's going to be your little world, right? So in your little world, these horrible rules and whatever you want to call them in these countries don't have to exist. Like in your little world. It's like this is what it should be like.
I think what I've done is just broken my first resolution, and I'm going to stick with fuck that league. Because I downloaded it. I downloaded it for the Pentagon, and have said every single night on stream we won't be managing there, but it's only there for realism purposes only. You know what? I would like it. I would like the because we know it's random. We know it's random. Players coming out. It would be fantastic for it to happen in the Saudi League, and for someone to be playing it, to be going, oh, now I've got a decision to make about a player that isn't real, and how do I really feel about this pixel being depicted in a way that I haven't considered. In the same way with the Women's League, people getting angry about more pixels being in the game that oh God, I can't believe there's more pixels and more names that I don't know. Like, get over it. Deal with it. It's not a problem.
I'm looking. Oh, women's. I'm going to try the women's game. I'd
like to try the women's game. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll do a full. Well, it's just naturally in the game, but I don't know if I'll do it as part of my save. Depending on what kind of save I do. I've got to rethink my challenges now.
I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it. I want to do it for a purpose.
I'm not going to do like a women's football career, but if I'm on a journeyman, it makes perfect sense.
Well, I thought about this, and it again goes slightly against what I've just said there about not managing England. I did consider doing the British Steel Challenge again, but by doing it where you have to complete each nation or each tier of league. So, for example, you'd find the lowest ranked league. So if for example, the Northern Irish Women's League was the lowest ranked league, you'd manage there first, then you go to whatever was the next step up. So it might be Welsh Division 2. Then it would be like, the next division, and do it that way. But I mean, that's just an incredibly complicated and convoluted way of doing it, I thought. But I did consider it. I considered it for a little bit. But then again, I realised that there's clubs in Britain that I didn't want to manage. So I've gone back. I've ruined these resolutions already.
I mean, if you want convoluted and complex ideas that don't pan out,
Granted.
I've always my plan for FM24, which I probably could have done now in hindsight because they delayed it, is 25. I'm sort of glad I didn't when I thought about it a bit more, but this is sort of like the thought process I go through. I thought, like, as a challenge, could I win one match with every single team in the game? In the base game only, right? And like there would be like small caveats. So for example, because like teams would get relegated, I could be like, okay, I can use the replacement team at least, right? I don't have to use Taunton. I can use Hornchurch because Hornchurch came up or whatever. Like, replace it. But and like as soon as I've done that, I can move to another club. Like I was trying originally. I was going to say I could only move to clubs where there were job openings, but I figured that would actually take like forever. But maybe I could just like move to another club. But I thought about it and I thought, like, I wouldn't be playing the game properly. I would just be like grinding through matches. But like I definitely could never do it now because like once they add in women's football, there's going to be so many teams in the game.
I think the key part there that you've just hit on that is my problem as well is when you said about playing the game properly. And I know that everyone plays the game however they want, and you should be able to play the game however you want. For me, I play the game, despite it being an escapism and its own little universe and stuff, I still like to think that the story I'm telling in my head is realistic. So even when I'm doing the Pentagon challenge now, I'm how do I even explain this? I still find it really bizarre that my in-game manager has taken at least 6 months to recover from not winning the African Champions League to scout out a job in America. I don't find that realistic.
He's so upset.
Like, I've gone too meta. Like, I'm too into the story that I don't think that's believable. Like, when we did British Steel a few years ago, I didn't understand why I left Celtic to go and join TNS mid-season, having just beaten Barcelona 5-0 in the Champions League. We'd won everything with Celtic anyway, so it was irrelevant. But to go to TNS to win the league in TNS and then go to Sunderland, like, it just made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking like a Jurgen Klopp style break now.
I've not been given loads of money to go and manage a conglomerate, an organisation that I said I would never manage. I'm still got my principles, Si. So there's that. I'm not doing well with this whole not letting the real world of football enter my psyche, am I?
Oh yeah, he's going to Red Bull, isn't he?
He is. A man of principle, Jurgen Klopp.
But he's not like I don't know. Is Red Bull? I never know how I feel about Red Bull. Is Red Bull bad?
Oh yeah. The Red Bull organisation of all the Red Bull teams. Yeah, it's bad. It's Citigroup, but with energy, with taurine.
Yeah, but Red Bull's fun. Like the drink. They do like the racing down the hill in the boxcars.
Yeah, I mean, some people like going on holiday to Dubai, but it doesn't mean it's a good idea.
I feel like of like giant conglomerates, I feel like Red Bull is like nicer than, I don't know, Ineos or I don't know
Citigroup.
Yeah,
Piff.
Citigroup.
Yeah.
Like, I know what Red Bull have done with Leipzig and stuff isn't popular. I think like once you take the Leipzig thing out of the question, like, they've not done it to Leeds, for example. When they seem to be pretty popular in the F1 world. So I think it is like it's pushing against that tradition of football. That's the problem, right? Like people don't like that. Okay, right. So
I'm trying to think of another resolution to do.
But you don't have to have loads. You can stick with those that you've got. So okay, let's recap. So you have.
So my resolutions at the minute, which I think I can stick to, is not overcommit on content. So stick with a few smaller projects and see them through, rather than lots of grand ideas and leave things unfinished. That was my main thing. So rather than having a big YouTube save, maybe have little one-season wonders and maybe one a month. Maybe. That's my where we think for that. So that was one. Then my other idea was to not take Football Manager too seriously and let my outside views affect Football Manager, which I've already undone, even on this podcast. So I've not even made it to New Year yet.
What if you get offered the New York Red Bulls job?
Oh,
will you not be taking that?
No, I'll be taking the Chicago Bakers or whatever they're called.
Chicago Fire. They're named after a natural disaster, which is one of the weirdest things I've ever known. Like a fire that killed hundreds of people. They're named after that. Either Chicago Fire or San Jose Earthquakes. Two of the weirdest team names I could think of.
Yeah, Cincinnati Killjoys. I'll be there.
Yeah.
So
these teams are named after disasters.
So I think I've really only got one resolution at this point, haven't I? Do I just play with attributes on? Because I don't know what we can do. I don't know whether we can turn things on and off this year as well.
Yeah, that's going to be in 25.
Yeah.
Well, you can play masked attributes, I'm sure, still.
Well, I'd like to have learned to play the Musterman way, but I don't know if that's even going to be a thing or not. It's just guesswork at this point because nobody knows.
Shooting ability measured in capybaras.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would love to do that because I've said so many times on this podcast that I don't think that there should be attributes in the game. So I'm almost wanting to try and prove this to myself to go, right, okay, well, Tony, take it away. How little fun is it with no attributes? Because again, you're making this game less fun for yourself. I've only really got one resolution at this point. Have you got any more?
I think it's a fair one. No, you're going to finish a challenge as well. You're two. I gave you one.
Finish the challenge. Yeah, okay.
Do you not want to take that one on? Is that too much?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean,
complete a challenge. Complete at least one. Right.
Hang on. Can I just check this as well? By the way, how do we define complete a challenge?
Like, if it's a Pentagon challenge, you have to win the 5 Champions Leagues.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, that is going to be tough. I'm going to have to set really small challenges, aren't I? If
you're doing British still, yeah, you can do a small one. If your small one is win the Champions League and a journeyman or whatever, or the Bilbao
tender friendly.
Tender friendly. Just set yourself a personal challenge. Press start streaming button. There we go. Upload video. Upload one video, and then you completed it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Complete a challenge. All right. I'll take that. That's a good one. I'll take that. What about yourself, Si? What's yours?
Learn something new in the game. I'm going to have to do that anyway from 25. But I want to go in more. Maybe it's training, or maybe it's tactics, or maybe it's like something else. Like maybe it's something like here's something I never do, and I'm bad for it. But maybe it's something like actually doing the contracts.
Okay.
Depending on the save, I've normally that depends on the save though. Like if I'm a club which has got some money and it's like minute, I just give them the contract the player wants. I'm like, I'll mess around with I don't want to risk annoying them for a start. I'm just going to get and rarely do they ever accept something lower than what they're asking for. So I just give them what they want normally. The only time I don't do it is when I haven't got the money. But maybe I need to squeeze the orange and get the most out of the contracts.
This suggests to me that you don't manage in the lower leagues enough, Si. Because
I do. I haven't this year. I think maybe that's it. Because Bilbao, my problem with Bilbao now, we did have one season where we had no money. And then suddenly Bilbao have got because we've been qualifying for Champions League, we've got so much money that I can't spend it.
Yeah,
I can't spend it because I'm not allowed. I can't buy anyone. There are 2 players. There's about 2 players who are worth more than 20 million, who are even worth buying, and they're 200 million. So it's okay, fine. I can't buy the 2 players who are millions of pounds, 200 million pounds, because I've got 120 million pounds budget. And that's not enough to buy a 200 million pound player. But I also don't need any of these 20 million pound players that are not good enough to get in my team, and 20 million's overpaying for them. So I'm just what do I do with this money? So right now I'm not having a problem. I just give and I'd much rather have the players stuck on the contracts. So I'm got to keep them at the club. So with Bilbao, that's not been a problem. And last year with having Waterloo, I think probably with having Waterloo, I did have to squeeze it out a bit more. This year, I think when I did Heist in Belgium, at first it was a bit like that, but really it wasn't too bad because I'm only really attracting players who would go to Heist anyway. So you know, I was sort of the finances weren't that bad. I think the thing is, I normally find that it's less players I'm buying in. It's more my current players when I'm renewing their contracts. I'm like, just give them what they want, like keep them happy.
Yeah, I suppose as well, if you're doing Bilbao, then you have to keep them happy, because if you lose a player who's Basque, you then have to go and find someone who's Basque, and it's not
I've bought
necessarily that easy. Like, if you lose your starting player, who do you go and replace them with? Because it's not like it's easy a job to do that, you know. That's
cost me 40 million. I bought, this is quickly, just 2 players left. One left to Chelsea, one left to Man United, like a couple of seasons apart. But like on free transfers, because I forgot to renew their contracts, or they didn't accept a new contract, and they weren't playing enough. And then like 6 months into their Chelsea and Man United careers, they weren't playing enough games, so I spent 20 million to bring them back to my club. And I was like, both of them I managed to get back, but it's like, that's a 40 million pound error on my part on not just getting them on new contracts. So it's like, but I'd much rather have these like hot prospects back at the clubs. And if Man United and Chelsea are buying them, generally, like probably they were good enough.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool. Okay, that's a reasonable one. I like that. Learn something new. Learn something new. That is a good resolution to have, Si. To be honest, I think we should all do that. And hopefully FM25 will mean that we're all going to learn something. And hopefully. I look forward to an inevitable slew of instructional videos for FM25 that will be all over YouTube. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Are you going to do some instructional videos, Tony? Are you going to instruct?
Yeah, if I feel as though I can do it, I probably should. Like, but again, it's going to be time dependent. So again, going back to my resolution, rather than agreeing to do something that I may not have time to do, I feel like I should do it. Because I hope that it's learning the game again. I hope there's something new to learn at FM25. I hope it's not just doing what we do now and we aimlessly click away because it's almost subconscious and it's just muscle memory. I hope that because it's laid out differently that we are going to have to go like, oh, shit, where's the tactics? Like, how do we do tactics? Like, how do we do responsibilities? How do we do contracts? How do we do transfers? Like, how do we, I don't know, what else is there? Like, how do we install kits? Like, can you even do that? Who knows what we can do?
It's weird how you can get honestly, instructional videos. Like, do you want to know one of my most popular instructional videos is? It's a short. It's a YouTube short. It's
probably something like, I would imagine, like loading in like the Premier League badges or something.
Oh, it's not that. There are lots of people do that, but it's not even that. It's not even anything you need to go out of the game for or anything. It's a console version tutorial. It's less than 60 seconds, the video. How to go on holiday.
Brilliant.
Because the button's like hidden somewhere weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that weird, but it's like, if it's not, it's because it's not in an intuitive spot. Like, people don't know where to find it, and you're like, okay. And like, I got so many people just saying thanks. I couldn't find it. I didn't know where it was. And like, because it's perfect. Like, someone's like, I can't find it. Where is it? Well, I'll find a YouTube video. 90 seconds.
I think
done.
There's something that we did that on stream one night, and I clicked something, and it was like you could jump to I forget what the example even was. I'm sure it was like something like you could just jump straight to a result or whatever. And we talked about it on stream, and I think a couple of weeks later, Zealand had done the same thing in a video, and he had like 100,000 views on it or something. And I was like, I could have done that, couldn't I? Because I was just like, I just thought everyone knew that. Like, you forget that you only know what you know, and that people don't know what you know. And it's I'm looking forward to seeing some good and interesting content coming out over the course of the year for FM25. So there we go. That's our New Year's resolutions then. Let us know below what your resolutions are for FM25 and beyond, of course, because potentially FM26 might come out at some point in FM20 in 2025 as well. Si, if people want to find more of our work, where can they find it?
They can follow us on all the social medias. Most of them, it's the FM Show Pod. So at the FM Show Pod on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. We need to get Blue Sky set up, but we've got Instagram now as well. We've got TikTok. If you want to email us, you can email us at thefmshowpod@gmail.com. So gmail.com. Thefmshowpod@gmail.com. All lowercase. Well, actually, case doesn't matter, but no spaces or underscores or anything like that. If you want to follow us on Patreon and support the show, patreon.com/the FM show pod. And I don't know how much it is. You can normally get a 7-day free trial, but
yeah, 7-day free trial. You can support the podcast from as little as £3 a month. It gives you early access to the public episodes. They come out on a Thursday. You get them on a Wednesday morning. Ooh. So it's over 24 hours in advance, both audio and video. So you get both versions, depending upon how you like to absorb the show. You also get an extra episode every week as well, some bonus content in there. And then as you go up the rankings in terms of Patreon, you get some more benefits as well, including discount off merch. Si, we can get nice. Some merch, some FM Show Pod merch. I should say, by the way, I'm going to buy the boys some merch as well, and we're going to distribute it amongst ourselves. So you'll see the shirts on stream. There should be, if you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a little link to all the gear on YouTube. If you are listening on the audio platform, come and have a little, just click on YouTube, have a little look, or in the Discord, have a look at the merch, see what we've got. We've got some FM Legends tees, we've got some FM Show Pod tees and hoodies in a multitude of colours and sizes and qualities. So, yeah.
Do you know what I like about the merch? And I like this in designs in general. When you find good merch, I always find it's like something that people in the know will get, but something who's not in the know, then it's like it doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
We do have the ones that say the FM Show Pod, but I like the ones that are like FM Legends, because like someone who doesn't know would be like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like doesn't bother me. It's not like it's advertising to me. Whereas like sometimes you see things it's like just logos and all sorts, right? So it's like, okay, right. I mean, this is just a cool design. People in the know will really get it. No, people not in the know doesn't bother them, and I like that. You know, it's not an in joke for the pod. It's like okay, this is, you know, if you like Football Manager, you'll like the tees.
Yeah, so it's like Kerr, Kallstrom, Segalco, Adu t-shirt. Like, so yeah, like if you know, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, go and treat yourself to some merch. You know, you've got some Christmas money burning a hole in your pocket. Why not go and pick up a cool t-shirt and support the show that way? Yeah, thank you, as always, for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please, of course, do make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube challenge. Drop a like on the video as well. And, of course, comment below your resolutions. Make sure you follow us on Spotify also. Yeah, Si, a pleasure talking to you. Everyone, a pleasure as well. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We will see you all in what it will now officially be 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. Take care. See you in a bit. All the best. Bye now.